Bellum of Mutants and Men is a two-player strategic card game in which the players play on this beautiful 5x5 grid. I'm hoping this cloth will be available during the Kickstarter. But they sit across from each other, and as you can see, we got another pair of hands over there. Gothylocks is actually in the video with me. Yay! She's making her triumphant return to the videos in this one. So each player has a keep spot in the middle of their side, and the ultimate goal is to destroy your opponent's keep. Now, each keep has 10 hit points, which are kept track of on these cards, as you can see down here. Now, you'll also be keeping track of stockpile points on the top of the cards, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, each player will start out with their 30-card deck, so we'll go ahead and look at these. These are pre-made decks that we're working with in our video, and you'll be able to construct your own deck with some regulations. The rules are in the rulebook for deck construction, but we're using the pre-constructed decks. I am playing the Sapiens, and Gothylocks is playing the Gobelos, I believe they are, which are basically goblins. The premise of the game is this is a post-apocalyptic world, and you're trying to build it back up. I am playing the Sapiens, which are the remainders of the world, and Gothy is playing the Gobelos, which are the goblins, the creatures of the world that are trying to take over everything from the humans. Did you want to show something, Gothy, or you picked up your deck?
Well, I was just showing.
Oh, yeah. You can see, nope, you got to come down further. There you go. You can see one of the Gobelos characters right there. Who is that? The Cannibal Enforcer. So, yeah, I probably had to get my face in there. Still working with no glasses. So let's go ahead and look at a few of the cards in the game, and then we'll go ahead and get to the turn order and how the game plays. So, you have 3 different types of cards in the game. The first are units that you'll have, and these are from my deck, the Sapien deck. You can see it says Sapien Soldier. It cost is 4 to come out, and his title is he's a Grenadier. So, or Grenadier? I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Grenadier. Now, you got 4 stats on your card. You've got your attack, your defense, your action points for the character, and your range. Range is how many squares away. So if he was on the board here, how many squares away he could attack. So his range is 1. He could attack there, here, or here. There are no diagonals in this game. Everything is, I think it's pronounced orthogonally. So, or orthogonal. There we go. Pronouncing words correctly, kids. So this number right here of how much he costs to put on the play is generated from your stockpile points, which generate at the beginning of your turn, which we'll go over in a minute when we go over turn structure. And then his action points are how many actions that he can do. You get, or you spend 1 action point to do things like moving, attacking, or use an ability on a card. This one actually has an ability you can use. See, you can spend 1 action point. It says you may discard 1, so it's 1 other card from your hand, and deal 3 damage to a target unit within 2 range, and 1 damage to each unit adjacent to it. So that's pretty good. You're throwing that grenade there. Another card, here we go, is a Scout. It costs 1, and it's got an end of turn ability right here. So that if this unit is adjacent to an enemy unit, you may pay 2, and when it has a symbol like that, it is for stockpile points. So pay 2, then return Scout to your hand and draw a card. So those are one of the kind of cards you'll have in the game. One of the other kinds of cards you'll have are called Stratagem, and there's 2 different kinds of Stratagem. There's the Tactic card and the Blitz card. Now, the tactic cards are ones you play on your turn to affect the game. You can see here, Cull the Herd. It costs 7 stockpile points, and it says it costs 1 less for each unit your opponent controls, and you destroy target enemy unit. Pretty straightforward. Blitz cards, though, are played on your opponent's turn, which is why you can see the symbol up here is X'd out, because you're not going to have any stockpile points to spend on your opponent's turn. They actually disappear at the end of your turn if you didn't spend any. They don't roll over to the next turn. So these are spent on your opponent's turn, so they're free cards to play. Target allied Sapien gains +1 attack or +2 attack, sorry, and +2 defense until the end of the turn. So yeah, I'm able to pump up my guy whenever Gothy tries to attack me. Now, each of us starts with a 30-card constructed deck. Like I said before, I'm playing Sapiens, and Gothy is playing the Gobbleos. So, you take our decks, and we shuffle them up, and starting, you draw 4 cards. So, I'll give my deck a quick shuffle. Gothy already shuffled hers, and I'm going to draw my 4 cards starting. And then your deck is known as your barracks. It's where all your soldiers and everything, your units are coming from. You'll go ahead and set your keep hit points on your card to 10 with the little gems. I'm hoping they include these gems and this cloth board in the Kickstarter because it's really nice. We have a stack of cards over here. These are spawnling cards. I should show you these. These are just little zero-cost cards that Gothy playing Goblins could possibly spawn these. Different effects will spawn these cards. Like she has something that said if it dies, it'll spawn a spawnling card, do different stuff. They're just little 1/1 creatures with 1 action point and 1 range. They have a swarm ability that says they may have more than 1 of this unit in play. Because usually you can't have on the board a unit that shares the name with another unit. So you don't only have 1 of that unit name out at a time. So let me take a second to look at what I have in my hand right here. Alright. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll go to the beginning of the game. You ready, Gothy?
Yep.
Okay, we're all ready. So, the game is played in 3 different phases during your turn. So, it's first the beginning phase is any beginning of turn abilities take effect. If there are none of those, then you will draw a card from your deck, add it to your hand, like so. So now I've got 5 cards in my hand. And then you generate your stockpile points, depending on the amount of cards you have in your hand. So since I have 5, I will generate 5 stockpile points, and I'll keep track of that on my card, right there. And then you progress to the middle phase. Now, I should have said that during the middle phase is where a lot of the action will take place during the game. It's where you generate your units. It's where you spend your action points for your units to do different things. And I wanted to note that when you activate one of your units to do the stuff with its action points, you have to finish the full activation before moving to another unit to activate it or playing out other cards. If you decide to end its activation early, you can't go back and reactivate it to use the rest of its action points. So then you do all that different stuff. You'll play your stratagem cards or what have you, and you'll do your attacks. Now, if you, for some reason you don't want to do any of that stuff during your middle phase, you get to draw 1 more card for your middle phase. If you decide to do nothing, put nothing out, do no attacks, generate no action points, use anything like that, you can draw 1 more card. But then it goes to the end phase, which of course any end of turn effects would take place. You will lose the rest of your stockpile points, and anything that cleanup happens. If you had attacked during the turn, you will write your unit back to from exhausted. You'll write it, and then play passes to the next player. So let's go ahead and see how this is. I've already drawn my card, so let's move to my middle phase. I am going to play or pay 1, 2, 3 stockpile to play this blaster right here. He has 2 action points, 3 attack, 2 defense, and 2 range. So whenever you put a card to play, it goes onto your keep, comes into play your keep, and then you get to spend the action points. Like I said, there's 2 action points, so I'm going to do 1. And then I'm still out of range of attack. So I'm going to spend my other action point to move another one there. So that's his 2 action points used up. Next, I'm going to play the Scout. He costs 1, so I've got 1 action point left. He's a soldier, and he has an end-of-turn effect that if a unit is adjacent to an enemy unit, I can pay 2 stock points, then return Scout to my hand and draw a card. So put him into play. He has 3 action points himself and a range of 1. He's a melee guy. So let's go ahead and just go 1, 2, and 3. Let's get them lined up in a position. I still have 1 more action point, but 1 more stockpile point, but I don't have any cards for 1 in my hand. So I'll move from middle phase to end phase. Nothing to do. I didn't attack to clean up and everything. I will lose all the rest of my stockpile points and pass turn over to Gothy. So she's got her hand of 4 cards. She draws her card, and then she will generate her stockpile points, which are 5, because that's the amount of cards she has in her hand. And she'll move to her middle phase for anything that she wanted to do.
I'm going to pay 2.
Okay.
To play Gobtryoshka.
Okay.
When Gobtryoshka is defeated or sacrificed, create a spawnling in an available adjacent space. He's got 3 attack, 1 defense, 3 action points, and 1
range.
Range.
That's
what that is.
Yeah.
So for his actions, he's gonna move 1.
Okay. So how many action points? He had 3 action points?
3.
Okay, so spending 1 to move 1 spot. All right. So you got 2 more action points on him.
He's going to attack.
Okay.
That guy.
So 1 action point to attack my sorry, I forgot what he is. My blaster. I forgot his name. Okay. So whenever he attacks, you can see we're just gonna compare attack to defense. So my guy has attack 3 and defense 2, and her guy has attack 3 and defense of 1. So her 3 hits my 2 and kills me. My 3 hits her 1 and kills it. So they both are destroyed. So they both go to their respective tombs, which is what our discard piles are called. Put it over there, go there. And her guy had that special ability that whenever it is destroyed, it gets to go to, or gets to create a spawnling token. So it's got spawnling there.
And then he's got 1 action point, so he's going to attack your guy.
And that spawnling is a 1/1, which it hits my guy, which is a 1/1, and kills him. So they're both dead.
Clear the board.
Yeah, clear the board a little bit. Yeah.
And then, let's see, I'm going to pay 2 action points to play the Brood King. I can't even talk. All allied spawnlings have +1 attack, +1 defense, but I don't have any left out there.
Yeah.
Whenever an allied Galbalos unit defeats an enemy, you may pay 2 stockpile points and draw a card.
Oh, nice. So that seems like a pretty nice guy to have out, and he's on your keep. Now, it also should be noted that if, in the course of the game, if you are trying to destroy another player's keep and there is a creature on it, you have to defeat that creature first before you can start attacking the keep and dealing it damage.
And then he's just got 1 action point, so he's just going to move out.
So you move out like that? All right.
And then my last one, I'm going to play peons?
Peons? Is it peons? What is it? Yeah, peons. Little peons.
I wasn't sure if it was pronounced that way.
Yes,
sorry.
it's pronounced peons.
They have the ability, if you control 3 or more Galbalos units, then you may draw a card.
Right.
He's got 1 attack, 1 defense, and 3 action points. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3.
3. All right, and you're set up for
I'm done.
And you're done. So end of turn effects will take place. She loses any other stockpile points that she has, and play progresses over to me. So that's the basic turn structure and how you play a Bellum of Mutants and Men. It's coming to Kickstarter on June 3rd, so make sure you check it out. I'm Logan, for Logan Chops Reviews. That's Gothylocks, returning to our videos. We'll see you next time. Happy gaming.